Markets have been all over the place in 2022, but I still think, even with this latest rally, that there are some oversold opportunities, and we are going to go over 5 of those for the month of April. Let's get into them right now. So as you go to look for oversold opportunities, it's important to know what's going on with the market, and data really helps to uncover the true picture. So this is the Big Money Index. It is starting to rally. And as a reminder, the Big Money Index, it's trying to measure institutional flows, right? Are the buyers in charge or the sellers in charge? Clearly, the buyers have been in charge, and we're at a 2-month high for the BMI, about to break out to new highs for 2022. And you're like, well, what is going on? Well, check this out. So if you look under the surface of all the daily buys and sells of stocks, a lot of that big selling that we saw earlier, it's starting to slow big time. There's still opportunity, but on the margin, the data is getting better. For oversold opportunities, you probably want to be looking at what's going on at the sector level as well. Here we have all of the sectors broken down by score, highest to lowest. And then you also can see what is the group's fundamental score and the technical score. So oversold opportunities, big time, are going to be in the discretionary space, right? Because it's the lowest ranked. We're also going to find some opportunity in healthcare. A lot of great companies right now that are on sale there. Then there's a financials name that we're going to cover. And then as a bonus, if you stay with me till the end, I'm going to be covering a very popular financials name that a lot of you have written in wanting me to cover. So let's get to the stocks. All right, so you can see this is a well-rounded approach. We are really putting a lot of thought into how we go about choosing our stocks. Now, as you're going to see, we are going to be focusing on quality as we get into our first name. So the first stock we're going to be looking at is in the discretionary space. It's also part of the tech space as well. But you can see we've got a handful of stocks to compare. You've got Google, you've got Trade Desk, you've got Adobe, right? These are great companies that I've known over the years. Now we can see their MAP score ranked from highest to lowest. You've got that technical score, and obviously you've got that fundamental score. Clearly, if I'm going to be looking for oversold opportunities, I want to look for stocks that have a very strong fundamental score. One of these makes the cut. So the first oversold opportunity is Trade Desk. This is a great discretionary name. They're changing the way advertising happens on the digital front. I mean, listen, everybody is excited about this name that I talked to. I've been following it for a number of years, and you can see why. So this is our big money buying and selling chart. You'll see some red signals and some green signals. Looks kind of choppy because tech has been very choppy. But notice that there's been a lot of selling lately, and that's why I think this is an oversold opportunity. Now we know, let me get my mug out of the way, we know that this is a high quality stock because if you zoom out over years, we know that it's got great fundamentals because of this blue signal here. So that means that this stock was getting bought by big money and it's got great fundamentals. That is what you want to look for with oversold opportunities. And let's just look really quickly at some of the fundamentals and technicals of this stock. Right off the bat, you look at the fundamentals, they're all good. And the main thing that I am looking at right now is it's got low debt, right? 18.6% debt to equity ratio. But look at the 3-year EPS growth of 29%. That is super strong. This stock is only getting penalized at the technical level. And you can see one big one is because the stock is below its 50-day, 100-day, and 200-day. This stock looks oversold to me. So let's keep looking in the discretionary space. Is there an oversold opportunity? I do see that. So here's a number of stocks. A lot of these names we know, right? Lulu, Deckers, Skechers, Crocs, right? They're all in this consumer goods, athletic wear type of group. You can see the MAP score, kind of like middle of the range. But what's really important is that there is high fundamentals. And so when these stocks get on sale, I think it's an opportunity. So let's pick the number 2 stock. The number 2 oversold opportunity is a great name. It is Nike. Full disclosure, I own this one in personal and managed accounts, but look, it's another discretionary name. Wall Street is worried. High oil prices. People aren't going to be able to buy shoes and athletic gear. I just don't buy into it. I think this is a phenomenal company. And why is it oversold? Well, you can see a ton of red selling signals in our data, okay? You look back historically, we tend to bounce when we get these red signals, right? Big money, they just go to quality stocks. How do we know that this is a quality name? Well, we have these blue signals. I call that the stairway to heaven. That means that there are strong fundamentals accompanying the big money going into the stock. So when in doubt, zoom out. Whoever said that was right. Let's look at the fundamentals and technicals really quick. And what do you see? A lot of green on the fundamental side. Two that stick out to me right now is that profit margin of 12.9%. The 3-year EPS growth rate is 67%. I mean, if we had to knock them for anything, I'd probably say the forward PE of 36 is a little high in this market, but this is super high quality. Where does the stock get penalized? Clearly, it's on the technical side. And one that's major is it's been 143 days since the 52-week high. I think this stock is going to have better days and is oversold. So we got to pick another discretionary name because that's where all the pain has been for the market. So we've got a bunch of names here that a lot of people have been talking about recently. Dutch Bros, Chipotle, you've got Monster, McDonald's, right? I think there's going to be some oversold opportunities. A few of these have really strong fundamentals. That's where we're going to be focusing on the number 3 stock. So what is the number 3 stock? Well, it's a great one. It is Starbucks, right? And they sell coffee. I mean, who doesn't like going to a Starbucks? It's one of these names that every time it gets on sale, I get excited. That's why I own it personally and in managed accounts. But right off the bat, it's an $88 stock. Fundamental score of 67% tells us that this is very high quality. Why is it oversold? Well, we can see looking at our software, tons and tons of big sell signals. Again, I think it's just some of these big money managers, they're worried about inflation and are people going to be buying coffee? I do think so. And if we look historically, right, you got to zoom out. This is a high quality stock. We know that because of these blue signals, right? Typically, these blue signals indicate a stock that's going up. It's got growing sales. It's got growing earnings. It's got a growing dividend, right? Very healthy characteristics when you're looking for an oversold opportunity. And let's go ahead and look at the fundamentals real quick. Pretty much green across the board. What do I really like? I love that profit margin of 14%. 1-year sales growth, 23%. You look at the 3-year EPS growth rate of 89%. There's a lot to like. You look at the technicals, of course, that's why it's oversold. 245 days since a 52-week high. It's getting penalized there. And then obviously year to date, it's down 24%. This stock, in my opinion, super high quality and it's oversold. The number 4 stock is going to be in the finance sector, in a very hot space, got a lot of names that a lot of people talk about. A couple of people wrote in, they're like, can you look at this name? Few of them are here. What do we notice? Right off the bat, they've got pretty good scores for the top 3. That's American Express, MasterCard, Visa. And a lot of that is due to pretty strong technicals, pretty strong fundamentals. But we're going to be looking for an oversold opportunity that has very strong fundamentals. The number 4 oversold opportunity is a hot one right now, and that is Upstart Holdings. And this is one of those consumer finance companies. They're using AI to help people with loans, get qualified for loans, auto sector, all that cool stuff. But it has just been a big money stalwart, and it's got a fundamental score of 79%. Full disclosure, I own this name in personal and managed accounts. Now, look at the chart here. Earlier this year, tons of big money went into this name. And in fact, I think the stock doubled or tripled. It was a big Wall Street darling. Now you could see that, look, the big growth scare came, tons and tons of selling hit this name, but we do know that it's a quality name because of these blue signals. That tells us that the fundamentals are very, very strong. Do I think it's got somewhere to be? I do. I think that's higher. We look at the fundamentals and man, there's a lot of good ones here. 1 year sales growth, 263%. 3-year EPS growth rate is over 1,000%. It's got profit margin of 16%. I mean, there is a lot to like here. If I had to ding it, it does have a 98% debt to equity ratio. I don't know that that is a terrible thing, but in this environment, debt is something that scares a lot of investors. But look at the technicals. I mean, when a stock gets so sold, you see all of these poor look at this. The 52-week stochastic is 7.9%. The relative strength is 48%. It's down 29% year to date. I think this stock is heavily oversold and is a potential long opportunity. Whoever said data cannot give you an edge, I don't believe them. So for the number 5 oversold opportunity, we're going to be looking at the healthcare space. It is one of those lower ranked sectors. And we're going to be looking at healthcare equipment. So we got a bunch of names over here, a lot of great names, right? Stryker, Edwards, Danaher. You can see that the MAP score is pretty decent, middle of the road, 67 all the way down to 50. But what is very important is look at the fundamental scores across the board. I think there is an oversold stock here. And for the number 5 oversold opportunity, we are going to go to one of the best names that I know, and that is Thermo Fisher Scientific. This is a fabulous healthcare company. I've followed it for years in our data, and it always tends to rise to the top after it gets sold. Now look, it's a $583 stock, and look, they're all about life sciences and they've got instruments. They're kind of all over the place. Just a healthy company. Fundamental score about 71. Is the stock getting sold unfairly in my opinion? Yes, and you can see all of this red. Look, earlier in the year had a lot of green, but growth got hit. But what do we see? Typically when there's a lot of selling, that can be opportunity, especially if it's a high quality stock. So again, how do we know it's high quality? Well, you got to look at the fundamentals, and these little blue signals kind of help as well. That's a stairway to heaven. So right here, top quality, boom. All right, you zoom out, the best stocks that I've ever found look exactly like this. Thermo Fisher, crazy high quality on sale, in my opinion. Let's go ahead and look at the fundamentals, and there's quite a bit of good here. So 1 year sales growth, 21%. But you know what I really like? Look at that profit margin, nearly 20%, okay? That is strong. If you had to knock it, it does have an 89% debt to equity ratio. A lot of healthcare companies do. And then let's look at the technicals. Where is it getting penalized? Well, the last time I got one of those green signals, that buy signal, was last year, December 16th. Another one is 87 days since its 52-week high. So look, as I've shown you, sometimes when you look for high quality, when it's on sale, it's an opportunity. And we got to do the bonus round. A number of people have been asking about, what does our data say about PayPal? Full disclosure, I own this one in personal managed accounts for years. And PayPal just has been sold into oblivion. If you're not familiar with PayPal, it's digital payments, right? When you buy something online, chances are you have a PayPal account. They're big into Venmo, right? If you're going to be paying some of your friends, family, whatever, that's how you send money these days. But look at how oversold this stock looks. I mean, these are dozens of sell signals, all right? It hasn't been under pressure like this, I don't think, ever going back in our data. But one thing I can tell you is that super strong stocks will bounce again. I do believe that. And right now it looks extremely oversold. You can see some of this blue here. Lets us know it's a high quality name. If we zoom out, I mean, it is a ton of high quality buying in this stock. Will it resume its uptrend? I do believe one day, but man, oh man, it looks heavily oversold. And you look at the fundamentals. 1 year sales growth, 19%, profit margin, 16%, decent debt. And get this, the forward PE is 25 times. I don't recall PayPal ever being this cheap. Now we look at technicals and it is poor across the board. Relative strength though, 72. But look at that 52-week stochastic, 10.5. The stock is down 38% year to date. It looks extremely oversold. I think that this could be an opportunity. You got to be thinking long term, but on paper, the fundamentals seem to check out. So in a tough market like 2022, these are my oversold opportunities for the month of April. Hopefully I've showcased why data is so important. It really helps to cut through the noise of what's really going on. I just think that if you focus on fundamentally sound stocks, eventually you will win the game of investing. I will see you next time.